Welcome to the Beauty Biz Show. I'm your host, Lori Crete, a career-loving esthetician and beauty entrepreneur on a mission to empower fellow estheticians. If you are a solo or small business owning esthetician and you enjoy this podcast and curious about how we can work together, visit beautybizclub.com for mentorship and essential business growth tools. If you're looking to boost your retail sales and elevate client care, check out my line of luxury spa wraps and headbands at spastar.net. Now, join me as I bring you inspirational messages from beauty industry experts and practical tips to help you achieve beauty biz success. Get ready for some serious beauty biz entertainment. I'm Lori Crete, the founder of the Beauty Biz Club, an esthetician success building program. And I think I'm going on a 26-year career-loving esthetician who lives for skin rituals, big dreams, barrier repair, and I'm located in Palm Desert, California. I mostly hang out on social media at Lori_BeautyBiz. If you want to watch this show on YouTube, that channel is Lori Crete Beauty Biz Coach. And today I'm here with my co-host, Lauren Nettuno, and we have a lot to share because actually we haven't done our normal walk and talks in like a week, I think. So welcome, Lauren.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm so happy to be back. For anybody tuning in for the first time, this is something super fun Lori and I do together. My name is Lauren Nettuno. I am also a career-loving esthetician. I've been going on for about 6 years now. And I'm super happy to be here. If you want to connect or follow along with my journey a little bit on social media, you can find me at Emerging Esthetician on Instagram.
I think we'd like to start by saying thank you to our listeners because we're getting such amazing, positive, loving feedback from these shows. And our goal is to give you guys something fun to listen to when you're getting ready for work, or maybe you're between clients or you're getting your treatment room ready. We're just going to share our unfiltered thoughts. We want you to feel like you are sitting with Lauren and myself, having a cup of coffee, talking all things esthetician, because the truth is, it's hard to talk about these things with your family and your friends who just don't get it. So we're really excited to be here today. And again, I don't know, it jazzes me up. I don't know about you, Lauren. We're getting such great feedback.
I know it's so funny too, because I was just talking to somebody, and we're going to break it down later in the episode and in future episodes, I'm sure, as this develops. But when something goes kind of crazy in your esthetician world, sometimes, friends, family, people in your life that aren't estheticians just don't get it. So a lot of the stuff that we talk about and are interested in is, more fun to experience with other estheticians. And so I know when we put these episodes out, I listen to them like back 3 or 4 times. It's so fun. And to hear that other people are enjoying them is just, it makes it so much more fun to do and show up for.
I'm just curious, and then we're going to dive into a bunch of stuff, but you kind of dropped a little seed. We have something to talk about that happened to you later. Lauren called me crying on a Friday. What phone call was I in place of, oh my God, I have to talk to somebody about, because I think this, what we're going to share, not only are you going to teach on, but it's going to be so relatable to the people listening in now.
Yeah. What phone call? Like, who did I call? Who didn't I call?
Yes, I assume you called your dad first.
Yeah, I called my dad first, which honestly I was like, okay, that was pointless and not helpful. I called my dad first, because, and like she said, we'll dive into more details, but I found out pretty abruptly that I have to move locations. I have to move out of my first studio, the first place my little business was born, and I found out I have to leave pretty abruptly, and I wasn't expecting to. And I called my dad, talked to him about it, and he was just entirely very supportive, very sweet, but entirely unhelpful when it came to my anxieties around it, and just what do I do in this situation? And so my second phone call was Lori. And let's just say I felt much better. She's the only reason I slept that night.
So we'll dive more into the situation, and just know that Lauren's going to be teaching on how to hustle and find a new location, because I don't think it's just going to be helpful for emerging estheticians. We get thrown for a loop sometime. Let's dive back into that a little later in the show. The show is sponsored by Gloss Genius, online business support scheduling system. So I want to have a real authentic chat about this, because for a few reasons. I've never had a sponsor. Well, I've had one other sponsorship on the show in the past 15 years. And I decided to work with Gloss Genius because I just started to understand the importance of this functionality in our business as solo and small business practitioners, estheticians. You finally have it up and running, and tell me one or two things you like about it, and then I'm going to share what I am just totally enjoying about this booking platform.
Well, for me, it felt like, I feel like I follow you blindly most of the time. But when Lori said, I feel really good about this software system, it reminds me a lot of the one I used to use that I really loved. And I, had no hesitations kind of diving into it following Lori. But wow, I feel like it's been a year since I have felt almost just like at peace with my booking system. Like, there is nothing I have to do after hours. There's nothing I have to do when I see an appointment pop up. I don't race to my software system to make sure that it was booked correctly and that I don't have to do anything on my end to make sure it doesn't mess anything up. Gloss Genius has been so easy, which it's supposed to be. Your online booking software should be easy for the business owner. And already I've gotten to also great feedback from my clients.
I will tell you, because I've been using it a little bit longer than you, some things that are just lighting up my beauty biz soul. First of all, as I'm driving home, I've realized I get an email that says your money is on the way. And it's all of my clients, sometimes not the last one. It just depends how long I've spent there cleaning up, but your money comes to you overnight.
Yeah.
And that money is not being spread out everywhere else with all these processing fees. It's 2.6%. And I really never believed I was a numbers girl, but I am now in this day and age when everything is increasing in price. It was actually something an expense that decreased for me. So I love the online booking, but also I have to talk to Gloss Genius because I don't know how this is happening, but I've had a system to get Google reviews that I show how to do inside the Beauty Biz Club. I haven't set that up yet inside of Gloss, but I'm getting more Google reviews than I ever have in my whole entire life from clients that I've been seeing for 30 years. So they have something that is directing my clients to the Google business page, and I'm getting an influx of reviews, which again, I'm taking them and using them on all my social media. Again, I teach this inside the Beauty Biz Club. So the exposure that's happening in a way that feels like magic or AI, whatever it is working. It's beautiful.
It's funny because I haven't noticed quite, like the Google review thing that you're talking about. But what I have noticed is since the day I switched over, I have been getting every single time I get you have a new booking, it's a brand new client. Like this hasn't happened to me. It's thought left and right, like brand new names that I do not recognize.
That's exciting.
And it is exciting. And I'm like, it's so funny because they're doing something. And it's interesting because they don't have this app that clients have to scroll through, and so you're almost like, how is somehow my visibility so much up, so much more? But it is like, I think I've gotten probably 8 or 9 bookings in the last week or so, and they're all brand new clients. So that's super exciting when you kind of get into this, when you're an esthetician that gets to the point that on a monthly basis, you're seeing a lot of the same faces. You get almost giddy again when you start seeing an influx of new clients come in.
So Leah and her founder, twin sister, Danielle, are coming on the show, and it'll be fun. You and I both interviewing them together. I've never done a podcast where there have been 4 people on, but it's going to be a fun little meetup. So you guys stay tuned for that. And you can also DM us any questions you have for online booking to people that are creating the software behind the scenes. It may be helpful. So stay tuned. That's coming. And let's move on to the next stuff. We're loving Gloss Genius. I think you are picking up what we're putting down. So now we're going to dive into real treatment room truth, what we're up to in the treatment room. Mine is boring, so maybe I'll just start. Boring compared to what you are navigating as an esthetician right now, but it's also a little strategy enhancement to my treatments that I implemented at the beginning of the year and implemented when I switched over to Gloss Genius. So I have this new LED light mat on my bed, and it's an enhancement, upsell, whatever you want to call it. Why did I do that? Because I just want to work with what's happening, like trends out there. And I know I have a lot of clients. My ideal client is somebody who's in pain because they are super active. They're pickleballing all day long, golfing all day long. And I'll give you guys, when you bring something new into your business, this is the approach, the strategy. I introduce it as a client appreciation. So today you're coming in, you get to try my new LED light. In the future, it will be a facial enhancement. You can add it on if you'd like to during your booking process. And I give it to them complimentary. It has boosted my income in such a beautiful way without me having to sell anything at all. And my clients say, well, what does it do? And I just say, I call it soul level rejuvenation, and you'll feel it. So I'm not claiming anything that's out of my scope of practice. It's just relaxation, an enhancement for relaxation. And doesn't the world need this now?
Yeah. Yeah. That's not boring. That is like a really, really, I think, strategic, but also just such a good treatment room vibe to have. It made me think of this video I was watching on Instagram this morning about a girl who doesn't market. She does a lot of online, social media marketing, but she doesn't so much market her enhancements. She's like, I don't post every other day that I have this to add to your facial. This is my device. I have this. She goes, I like to make it seem like a really intimate, more exclusive option for the clients once I get them in my room. And there is something about that, when you show up thinking you're getting one thing, but then you get surprised with another. It changes the entire experience.
I would agree. We treat our treatment rooms a lot like we're this big, huge spa. And sometimes we have to modify and remember we're a small business and we have a superpower within that, being a solo or a small business. So that's one of the things that I'm doing, just finding ways to make it more special for my clients and my bank account. And also another thing, I've stepped into this phase of innovation in my business. I've taught on this before, the levels of success and the cycles of success, I guess is the word I was looking for. And I know I need to innovate. So you're going to die when I tell you what we're doing inside the Beauty Biz Club, social media. This morning, I had a meeting at 6 a.m. I'm redoing the Lori Crete website and I'm going to simplify it. But I had this 6 a.m. because a graphic designer that I used to work with in Los Angeles is so talented. She moved to New York City. Her clients are massive. And I just reached out to her and I said, do you have any space to help me redo my website, the graphics of it, thinking she's too famous and too busy? And she said, I'd love to help you. So I had to get on the phone early because she's in New York. And I said, I can't wait to work with you because you're the one person who has designed graphics for me. Then they were even better than I could ever imagine. And she said, okay, thanks, Lori, no pressure. And I go, no, I believe in you. We're doing this. So I've stepped into this new space, and really I had so many moments of how I want to do that hit me this weekend. I've been feeling a lot in between, but I'll tell you, I'm simplifying everything. And we had a meeting this weekend. You were at a wedding. That's the only reason you weren't included in it, of how we're going to reformat and transform the Beauty Biz Club, really with the intention, ease of use inside there. So that's something I've been working on. And then also, as an esthetician inside my treatment room, you know, I say at the intro of the show that I love barrier repair. I've realized how that is my mission in my treatment room, and I'm learning so much more about it. I've even stopped doing aggressive treatments. And when I say aggressive, I'm a pretty mellow esthetician, but if my client is coming in stressed out, I am only doing the most mellow things to the skin. And I feel like this LED mat is part of it. Like sometimes healing is, I know we're not supposed to say it, anti-aging, that's what the words my clients are using. So my treatment room is becoming more of a space of healing inside and out. And I think that's helping the barrier, because I've had 2 clients that have had like crazy reactions that freaked them out. Then it freaks me out. And I realized both of them were stressed out, even though I was doing the same things I always do. So for those estheticians listening, I would ask your client what level of stress they're experiencing right now in their life before I determined any treatment that I would be doing on that person. So yeah, that's my update for treatment room. You have any questions? Or,
you know, you're somebody who I don't think people quite understand. When somebody says, "Oh, I'm always evolving, I'm always innovating," like you are a powerhouse. People know that about you, but you're somebody who is never, ever, ever, ever going to get stagnant. And I feel like that if that's comes to your treatment room, the Beauty Biz Club, always seeing what people are doing, and then, you know, not looking at it as, oh, they might be doing this better than I am, or, oh, I love what they're doing, it's working. How can I, you know, do something like this or like this? And I just feel like when you're talking about these big changes in the Beauty Biz Club, it makes me think about how when Lori and I have our walk and talks all the time, and Lori is always telling me that she is meant to be helping estheticians. Like, this is just what you're meant to be doing. Not only are you an esthetician, but you say it that if you believe in every cell of your being that this is what you're meant to be doing, right? Yes. And I feel like we live in this day and age where there is a lot of people coaching. There's a lot of people wanting to get into that side of this industry. But something I've always wondered, in knowing you and how much you deeply, deeply love it, and you've been able to see time and time again how impactful the Beauty Biz Club is for this industry, and your coaching, you know, always evolving. What do you think makes you different than everybody else in the industry wanting to get into coaching, or, you know, just this side of things?
It's funny, you took the exact words out of my mouth. It is on a cellular level, I know, but I'm going to be really super honest here, and come after me if you want to, if this doesn't, like, some listeners may be offended by this, but I'm seeing a lot of other coaches out there now saying, I wish I had something like what I'm creating right now. When I started, I had to figure this all out on my own. And I'm thinking, you are not being truthful. You were in the Beauty Biz Club for 5 years learning these systems. And now you're saying you figure, I hate dishonesty. And it was putting a bad taste in my mouth. And, you know, you listening in, you may think I'm woo-woo, Lauren. You know, I do this every morning. I go out and I look at the stars.
Mhm.
And I set my intention. It started when I had my only child, fur baby Rudy. I would take him out so he could go to the bathroom, look at the stars, and set my intention for the day. And my intention, maybe the last 5 or 6 months, have been, if I'm not supposed to be helping estheticians anymore, because there's so much noise in the space, learning has changed, although I don't think it should have changed. Um, if I'm not supposed to be helping estheticians, then give me something else to do. I've been saying that. And
Yeah.
every time it comes back to no, I want to be helping estheticians. And it's why we're going to innovate the Beauty Biz Club a little bit. And I'll be making a huge announcement on April 6th of how this is going to take place. And I think it's going to be rather shocking. April 6th, we are doing it's called the Retail Reset, and it's just a training. It's going to be very low cost. Maybe we're talking $20.26 to join, only because we have to have the space available on Zoom. We've sold out of Zoom rooms, and then people get a little upset that they wanted to be there when we've done it free. So now we charge a little bit for them just to keep it organized, and so we know how many people are coming. But the Retail Reset, I'm going to be making a huge announcement of what it's going to look like in my world and in your world. I think you're going to be excited about it. But back to answer your question, there's so many changes. And why do I still feel like I'm supposed to be doing this? It's my North Star. Thought about it over the last few days. And this is just in my soul. I feel sincerely devoted to helping estheticians who love skincare more than they love social media. And that's it. I don't want to teach people how to be successful on social media. I want to teach them how to be successful in their treatment room so they can have a big bank account, a big, beautiful life. They can hit their goals. They can go on their dream vacations, because this is what being an esthetician has provided for me. So I'm not going anywhere. I'm not giving up. There are a bunch of coaches out there. I know that I'm sincerely devoted to helping the esthetician who wants to be successful at her practice, at her skill set, but also knows there is this component where you have to know the business systems that go along with it. And I can be intense. You know, one of my first employees, and I bet you feel this way too, I remember her saying to me, and I thought about this a lot this weekend, Lori, you stress me out. I think I have an effect on people that way because I am a go-getter, and that's not how I want to make people feel at all. I want them to go, oh my gosh, Lori's doing this work for me so I can get myself set up the right way. But so there's a long answer to your short question.
You know, that's so funny because like you've never stressed me out. But what I have noticed, and this is how you feel about a lot of people, you are somebody that wants things for people more than they sometimes want it for themselves. Like you're somebody who, if you see that
The potential, it's based on potential.
Yeah, you do not waver, you do not quit, you do not settle. And that is just something that a lot of mentors in the space don't have for their mentees or their members. They, you know, sometimes it gets to be where there's all of the people start kind of blending into one, but you're somebody who can remember specific details about even some of your expansion girls who've been with you for 10 years, you know, what they were doing when you had to send them a text being like, what are we doing? Get it together. This is what I see in you. This is what you could be. And now they're in expansion. And it's like, you're somebody who remembers very specific details about people when you want something for them that they might not even know they need yet. And it's really powerful.
This is what it's all of this, like simplifying, me not like making, I know so many people are feeling lost and overwhelmed right now in our industry. I see it on social media. And then there's a lot of fluff. You think somebody's so successful and they're not, because they're spending all their time on social media. The way we're going to redesign the Beauty Biz Club, no, it's going to be like the most beautiful North Star business support system you could ever imagine, designed specifically for estheticians. So I'm very, very excited about the innovation that's going to be happening. And go ahead.
I said I'm very excited about it as well. It made me think about my treatment room truth.
Just a quick message, and then we're jumping right back into the episode. Many of you know this already, but I've been looking for a new assistant manager, one that supports my esthetician life and my treatment room life. And today, I get to share something that genuinely lights me up. I found my new treatment room assistant manager, and it's going to surprise you when you find out who I chose to support me while I'm working on clients. It's a new to me all-in-one platform for scheduling, payments, marketing, and much more. And it really feels like it was made for small business estheticians. It's called Gloss Genius, and I'm officially obsessed. First, it's designed to help build an aesthetics brand. You know, I believe in support that feels elevated and luxurious because this helps us stand out, and Gloss Genius nails this. Second, it's actually really easy to use for you and for your clients. No clunky menus, no confusion, no where do I click next? None of these moments. Clients don't have complicated logins just to book an appointment. It's just smooth, smart design that works with ease. Third, every feature purposefully helps your business grow, whether it's rebooking to bring a client back in or low payment processing rates that help you actually keep more of your money that you earn. This platform never stops looking out for you. And you know how rare that is in our industry? It's so refreshing to see a company who actually understands the margins that beauty businesses have to work with. But here's what really sealed the deal for me. Gloss Genius was founded by two powerhouse sisters who are deeply passionate about helping entrepreneurs thrive. They're committed to innovation, education, and helping our businesses grow while cutting out the stress that comes along with it. Their whole mission is to help beauty biz owners grow with technology that empowers us instead of overwhelms us. And honestly, you can feel their heart in every feature. And trust me, I get it. Switching platforms can feel intimidating, but Gloss Genius makes the process simple and possible. So if you've been looking for a business software that is gorgeous, client-friendly, and built by people who respect and advocate for beauty and wellness entrepreneurs, this is it. I'm thrilled to welcome Gloss Genius as part of the Beauty Biz Show, and even more excited for you to experience what I've found: a fresh start, a powerful platform to help you grow, and a company that truly gets us. If your business is ready for next level, Gloss Genius is waiting for you. Because when your systems support you, you get to focus on the beauty that you're here to create. So click the link in the show notes or the link in my Instagram bio at Lori_BeautyBiz to learn more and use my code BeautyBizShow to experience your first 2 months of Premier Tier for half off. Okay, so we're going to dive into yours. You have a lot going on, and what you're seeing right now. When you called and told me this, I just want to start the story this way. And we'd love for other estheticians to comment here if you've dealt with something like this, because community, like, let's support each other. The things can throw us for a loop. But when you called and you told me this, I go, is it harder for somebody at Lauren's age, level of business, or years in business, I guess, is it harder for you than it was for me when I was there? And honestly, no. It's happened to me 3 times, what you're about to share. So you dive in and let's just chat this out together.
Yeah. Well, this will be a developing story because right now, and Lori and we record these podcasts when we feel inspired and want to chat, and we never really know when they're going to air. So as we're in this conversation right now, I know very few details. I know that I'm in a beautiful space that I love and I built my business in, and I'm supposed to have been here for 2.5 more years, and now I have to leave.
Legally, you were supposed to be there for 2.5 more years via a lease.
A lease, yes.
Contract.
Yeah,
and
my lease.
Speaking of Friday afternoons, you got a phone call. Walk people through the emotion of what's going on.
Yeah. Um, I got a phone call essentially saying there had been signs leading up for the past few weeks that I didn't see. I got a phone call essentially saying, that certain things needed to be done to the building that I'm in, and they have no choice but to do them. And what has to be done will impact my day to day, business, the way I run my business. And that essentially I need to go. And this, when I tell you I felt like I was being broken up with. It was the weirdest thing. It was weirder to me than being like let go of a job or like fired or like I felt like I was I was going through a breakup. It was so devastating in that moment.
A
Um,
breakup that you didn't even expect. Like when you
yeah,
called me, I was shocked for you.
yeah,
I love your treatment room.
I know. I love it. And I felt like the rug was quite literally pulled out from under me. And then your brain I had a moment, and I think Lori could tell I called her, was freaking out. And, we're in this estheticians and, other spa, service providers can understand when, you might get bad news at 8 a.m., but you still have to see 5 clients. You have to still put on this hat and say, okay, this just happened to me, but I have to put it so far back in my brain to get through today.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I did 5 facials that day and called Lori the moment, literally maybe 10 minutes after my last client had paid and left, and just sat there with it. And I think Lori even knew in that moment that anything she said was just kind of going over my head. Like even you were like, take the rest of the day and tonight and just be sad. Like Lori was like, just be devastated about it. And in the morning, you'll figure it out. And so now, I had the weekend. I was able to go be around my family, which I think really, really was something I needed. And I'm feeling so much better about this week. I still feel very lost and unsure of what I'm going to do, but I feel like this was meant to happen and it's going to be, good for my business. So let's hope it is. Cause like I said, at this moment in time, I don't know many details. I don't exactly, yeah, I don't really know what my future holds yet, but I do know it's going to be just as lovely and just as beautiful. And yeah, it was a big, big, scary moment for me.
Well, I think that you're going to teach, I'm not think, you're going to teach on maybe even the first 3 steps that you took to keep you sane. Inside of the Beauty Biz Club, we have helped members that have had cars drive through the front of their building while their spa was in, and they needed a place to go overnight. We've helped a few estheticians that have lost their business due to fire. I know personally nothing that traumatic, but the day I got to go back to work after COVID, after being out of work almost a year and a half, I remember driving my stuff to the med spa I was renting a room in. And I got back home and I sat outside in my backyard with a cup of coffee and took a big deep breath. And I go, oh, this is so good. I'm finally getting to go back to work. I feel settled. And the phone rang and it was the doctor. He said, Lori, I'm so sorry. Everyone got pregnant, all my team, and I'm closing my second location and I need your room for all my lasers. So I'm going to have you leave. He said this wasn't an easy decision. But I remember feeling like you did. You said you kind of went numb. I couldn't even cry. I was just like, I felt like a punching bag. And you know what? It always ends up where it does happen for a reason. If you handle it with the right attitude, the right support. And you even said, I have my non-negotiables now, which again, you'll talk more about this in the Beauty Biz
Yeah,
Club because it's a power training to
yeah,
help
and
people.
I think too, why I'm excited to train about it is because there is a method to this madness. Like
Yeah.
yes, I might have gone home that day and broke down and grieved in my own way about it, but I texted 3 people immediately, 3 people that I knew could help me navigate this. And I'm just excited to talk about my method in, managing what I'm going through right now, because there really is strategy here. And even we'll talk about it more and more, but even Lori knows I've already gotten, quite a few of potential leads. So yeah, everything's going to work out.
Do you have a pen by you or your phone?
Yeah.
I just thought of the name of the training,
Okay.
Managing an Emotional Move.
Yes.
So that's what you're gonna wrap. Oh, I got a new phone this weekend and I don't know how to turn it off or on or basically do anything with it. I have this morning it was 6 o'clock and I had to um, call my designer in New York and I FaceTimed her. I'm like, oh my God, if she sees what I look like right now, she's gonna think that I have a problem. So I'm trying to navigate the phone. That's why it's ringing in the back. Anything else that's happening in your treatment room, or is that just taken over everything?
I think right now it's pretty much taken over everything. Before I haven't even touched a face since that happened because I was gone. So I'll be back in my treatment room tomorrow, fully booked, and we'll just begin again. So stay tuned.
All right. Well, I'm here to help you navigate it, however, but I feel like this is happening for a good reason and you'll figure it out. You're creative that way. A little scrappy, which you need to be as a business owner. So that's good. That's going to come
Yeah.
in handy right now.
Yeah. And honestly, it's going to give me a lot of material to teach on in May. And so stay tuned for that. But what are we teaching in April?
Okay. So April 6th, I just mentioned it, $20.26 training that I feel like we need right now.
Yeah.
I'm going to talk about this on social media, but we've been playing the blame game a long time as estheticians. And when it comes to retailing, so I'm doing something called the retail reset, and that's about how to make product sales part of your service. And the reason I'm doing this is because I hear estheticians that started as we were blaming the skincare lines at first, the professional skincare lines going direct to consumer. And then we were blaming Amazon for stealing sales from us. And then we started blaming influencers. And it's time for a reset. And let's get it together and use our superpower of touching faces, the clients right in front of us, knowing their skin. That's what the training on the 6th is going to be about. And the reason I'm doing this is because you and I are going to be teaching inside the Beauty Biz Club April 13th how to choose a product line that elevates your esthetician world. And it goes back to how I'm feeling about what makes our Beauty Biz Club different. Well, there's a reason we win the Esthetician's Choice every year for helping estheticians grow their business. They vote for us, we win. And I do believe it's because we're teaching real life stuff that really matters.
Yeah.
And 25 years, and it still takes me an average of 3 years to bring on something new. So I want to talk about that because it's one of the questions I get asked on repeat. 2 questions that I don't like to answer because I feel like they could be misleading. So I'm going to share my formula on how I bring in a new line, but I get asked all the time, what product line do you use? What product line should I use? I don't know. There's a formula where you should figure this out with strategy so it increases your profitability, not decreases your profitability. And when you do this, you actually stop playing the blame game. You're not blaming product sales and everyone else. You're selling the crap out of your product. So how long did it take you when you decided to bring in another line, which we just did this formula with you bringing on the new line not so long ago?
Well, I brought it in not too long ago, but actually I I started really thinking about it in May because I was at the live, May of last year. And then I went May, June, July, August, September. I had tried it out on my own skin. I thought, okay, I'm interested in this, and had a rep send me their, all the info on the line. September, October, first week of November was when I placed my first order. So it took me from May to
November.
beginning of October, because then I had an event the last weekend of October. So I was really launching this in October, but it was something that I was slowly preparing my clients for, preparing myself for, and learning about May, for 6 months.
Yeah.
And I didn't even
guidance. It wasn't like you were trying to decide this on your own.
know. And, I had, of course, Lori, knowing my business, my clientele, and also knowing my background working in a, plastic surgeon's office, I felt like it was a really good fit for me. But it's funny now, I have a lot of people asking me the same thing, how do you choose? Would it be good for my clients and whatever. And it's so, what is good for my business isn't always good for your business. And so this is something that you're right. An emerging esthetician or even a seasoned esthetician who's either bringing in a second line or trying to figure out what line to start with.
Innovate or just introduce. That's really the two times that you bring on a new line.
This is something that people need guidance on, because you search on Google professional skincare line. I could probably name off the top of my head the first 5 that are going to be promoted to you. And then there's 100,000 of other ones. And so you can be kind of overwhelmed as an esthetician and not think about the systems and the formulas that you really should be thinking about before taking this before making a big investment. A lot of these companies, they don't just let you buy $200 worth of product. It's a huge investment. You have to place their minimum order. So it is something that you should be very intentional about. And I'm super excited for us to break that down in the club.
When you were just sharing that, I took a trip down memory lane in my brain and started thinking the first trade show I went to, I think there were 2 skincare lines that you could purchase as a professional, Dermalogica and Pavonia, which you may not even know what that is. Mm-hmm. That was all I remember seeing on the trade show floor. And now it is like something crazy on steroids. And I just talked to somebody about the New York City show, and they said many of the vendors were disappointed because the buyers seemed to be like caution. What was the word they used? They were purchasing with caution, which never used to happen. We'd go there and just buy whatever because it was in front of us. So now they're cautionary buyers. So things are changing, and it's because I try to teach us all the time. It goes back to why I'm simplifying my brand, Lori Crete, and the Beauty Biz Club, is because the confused mind says no, and everybody's confused. So super excited to teach that. And I'm looking at our show notes. So let's see, what are we going to chat about next? I think that
community. I think we're diving into how that you're going to do more coaching, right? You just did a coaching call.
I stopped coaching for a little while, but this is part of like the pause that I'm going to be taking over the summer. And I got to coach with an expansion member. I have been coaching just expansion members, really. And something happened during that call. Like, she showed up so organized with one specific thing she wanted to work on, and it was modifying a menu and simplifying a menu. And there's been so many changes that have happened with algorithms and SEO over the last few years and it's one of the things I stay on top of. Like, having a menu that attracts clients has always been the forefront of my success. So that's what we worked on. And she knew herself it was time to innovate. And that really lit me up. And it reminded me how smart estheticians are. So smart. And when I got on the call with her, I said, this really isn't a coaching call because you've done all the hard work. I think you and I need to chew out a strategy. And it was so much fun. I want to do more of that this summer, one-on-one coaching, because I feel like estheticians need that hyper-focused guidance on just one thing they want to accomplish. One thing. So my coaching calls are going to be for people who have been sitting on an innovative idea that they want to implement for a long time. They've been sitting on it and they're not moving forward and they need somebody to chat it out with. So I'm really excited about that. It's kind of like taking it back to where I started.
Yeah. And I think that coaching, and I haven't done much of it, but what it does do is it almost lights a fire in you as well. Like seeing people show up really wanting to take advantage of the hour, really wanting to implement these things into their business. I'm super glad that you're diving back into coaching because, you are the best in the business. You're the best coach ever. So I think that it will be really, really, really incredible for you and powerful during your little, pause this summer. It'll be a good thing.
I have realized, and I realize this, I have so much experience and knowledge from that this industry has gifted me. It's in my brain. I was telling my sister, who is a functional medicine psychiatrist, I was telling her the other day, I have to write for like 3 hours a day or my brain feels too busy. And she's like, we need to get you on lithium. I think I just need to start helping other practitioners become focused and give them direction. So
yeah,
about that. And shout out to Melissa in Expansion that I worked with. She lit me up, but it also, like, the next day, she sent me a thank you. This felt so good. And I implemented it right away. As a matter of fact, we coached on a Tuesday and she said, I'm not going to have time to do this until this weekend. But she was so lit up. She texted me on Wednesday and said, it's done. And it feels really good. And that's what I needed to hear and know that I can be of help to estheticians. And maybe it's taking it back to just this hyper-focused coaching type strategy. So, and you're open for coaching too. I think you really help a lot of people with creative ideas, like on branding and photo shoots and those kinds of things that, working with my designer this morning, I said, I can throw together a photo shoot, but I'd rather not. And she helped me. She's like, let's just go into some of your old photos and that you haven't used before, and we can make them look, refreshed a little bit.
Yeah, I love that aspect of coaching. Like, I'm somebody who can, think of marketing tactics that you'd never think of, or, like, I love being really, really creative when it comes to that kind of stuff. So that's definitely a super fun aspect of coaching that I have experienced so far.
Who's your dream coaching client? If somebody were to call you and said, will you help me with this? What would really light you up?
I think my dream coaching client would be maybe, an emerging esthetician that has had some experience, and is ready to maybe do something that I did, is ready to take what they know and step out on their own, and is really ready to like fully dive in. And when I say, oh, I had to do this and I didn't have the money to do it, I had to take out a loan, or I had to do this, like really freaking serious about it. Because I want to help emerging estheticians. I think that this industry is becoming kind of scary to step into. And then, it seems all fun and you have people surrounding you when you're in school and you're practicing facials on each other. And then you might have your first job and you have other estheticians who have worked there longer that can maybe help you. But then the second you go solo, it can feel like the most isolating, lonely space. But also that's like where you really have to ramp it up. So I feel like one of my dream coaching clients would be, somebody who's just really ready to come out of the gate swinging.
I love that you want to provide guidance here. I was talking to a friend of mine who's an educator in this industry, and I'm not going to say who it is because I didn't ask her permission to share her finding, but she said, what I'm finding, Lori, is these young estheticians, and emerging is a better word because also you could be starting this later in life. I became an esthetician when I was 32 years old, which wasn't right out of high school, which a lot of people are doing now. And it can be such an amazing career. But what she was telling me is she's finding that these people are getting out of school and setting up their treatment room going $40,000 in debt. And then all of a sudden they're sitting in a beautiful treatment room with equipment and a table, a bed, and they're like just stunned when they realize they don't have any clients to use this on. That's why the Beauty Biz Club is there. We do not let this happen. If you want to do the work, these are the people. Did you see Karen inside the club the other day said, I started out with a slow week and I got a little freaked out and I sent one letter out, a marketing letter inside the club, and I made $3,000 in 2 days. Like, that's what I want for estheticians, to have a place to go instead of freaking out or sitting there stunned. We want you using your equipment with your hands on a face or lashes or tanning, whatever it is you want to do.
That is a misconception of the club. I think that if you are listening right now and you have never been inside of the club, and mainly I'm talking about essentials, but it's not just, yes, it's a community of estheticians. We're all there to guide and support each other and be there for one another. But it is like an encyclopedia for your business. Like when I had all those toners on my shelf, and I don't really sell toners, I just went and found the toners letter that's in the training library or letters library and sent it out, sold all the toners. Like it is like a bank for everything that you need is in there. And I think people think from the outside that the club is just this fun place that we all hang out and like watch trainings, but it is for you. It is like never ending resources. Even if the letter library was even something that a letter that you're sent out has been in the letter library for 5 years, I'll send it out once a year. Some of your letters are on repeat every May or every July.
I send them out every year. And it's funny because that toner letter that you sent out, but you know what? Let me go back. I called it the Beauty Biz. It was called the Success Society for Estheticians, like a success society. Like, and I loved that. But the second I put that out in my branding, this was years ago when I first started it, like 30 other people used it. And I'm like, I don't want to be saturated in the middle, but it is really like a success society. It's a little society. It has its own branding. People all the time use the name when they see me. Oh my gosh, Lori, I'm part of the Beauty Biz Club. The Beauty Biz Club has helped me. It's like a little society that that really is designed to help people. So I was going to tell you something else. Oh, toners. So let's move on to products that we're obsessed with. Since you said I am overstocked on toners, I go send out the toner library. I've been thinking about how many different ways I use toners. And this, you know what I've started doing is I don't even look at toners as toners. I use them as a piece of a treatment for myself. So I've started using my toner before I wash my face in the morning. It's like it gives it that fresh clean that seems to let my cleanser do its job a little better. Then the serums work a little better. So I've really started looking at toners as treatments.
Yeah.
And I think we could sell them too.
And I mean, really, I remember when I first started at the plastic surgeon's office, there was an esthetician there that was like a die-hard toner person. Like she wouldn't even let her client leave without a toner. And she always used to say it was like, why would you paint a wall without priming it? And she's like, your toner is your primer. It's preparing your skin for everything else that you're putting on it. And it just will make everything else work better. And I remembered that also during this whole toner debacle, that they're not just, all these companies don't just say, let's just throw a toner in the mix. Yeah. Like they're actually really, they're meant to make your whole skincare better.
Treat your skin. You know what though? I will tell you, and I'm going to ask you a question about your recent travel after this. I mix toners in with my enzymes. Mm-hmm. This weekend I used a clay mask, and instead of water, I put that in as the liquid to make it, apply easily to my skin. Also, I don't ever get on an airplane without a toner. The people that sit next to me, I always have a hydrating spritzy toner, and I'll have a passenger like Jay and I, when we fly, a lot of times, if it's not a long flight, he sits on the aisle and I sit in the window. So we have some random stranger in between us. And I'll be like sharing my skincare. Do you want some of my toner? I've made great friends by sharing toner spritzes on an airplane. But one of my favorites is Savor Beauty's
Yeah,
rose toner. And I know a lot of people think rose is offensive, but hers is not. It's gorgeous. Gorgeous
that
and like use.
stops people in their tracks.
Yes.
Something about it, like you have no idea. I'll use that one when I'm finishing my treatment. Like I'll say, take a deep breath and I'll spritz that toner. You have no idea how many people will open their eyes immediately and be like, what is that? I'm like, oh, well, so they're like, it reminds me of something. Like, like how smell will take you
Yeah.
back. And like that toner the scent of that toner is so beautiful.
There's another one that I use a lot in my treatment room. That's definitely like within hand's reach all the time. But the Sorella Apothecary Watermelon Mint, every
Oh,
time I end my facial that way, my clients just look back at me and go, thank you. What was that? It's like it's a moment of gratitude with that toner. So you guys listening in, my esthetician friends, our esthetician friends, toners are powerful.
hmm.
Toners are powerful. But what I wanted to ask you is, speaking of favorite products, did you have something in your carry-on for skincare on your recent trip? You went from Bozeman to Atlanta last weekend. What was your skincare must-have in your bag that you wanted mid-flight? And I can see you shaking your head. Yes.
Yes, I don't bring my whole situation when I'm traveling. I don't think anybody does, but I bring like my essentials. And I brought on this trip the um the cleansing oil, the Environ cleansing oil. And all I did all weekend was I brought the oil, a cleanser, and my vitamin A moisturizer. And I have been neglecting the double cleanse for a long time. And I didn't have any makeup like remover type things. And I was like, oh, I'm just gonna last minute, I threw the oil cleanser in there. And my skin, a double cleanse, you forget how good it is until you start doing it again. And that's another thing that sits on my shelf for a long time, is because I don't feel like people want to buy two cleansers. But the oil cleanser, I'm back on it. I'm back obsessed with it. I love it.
I think I just made a note for our next show. Let's do travel packing esthetician edit next time,
Yeah.
because there are certain things I do differently when I'm traveling. We'll talk about that next time. But I'm getting ready to pack for Vegas. And last night I put in 4 foil eye gels and 4 eye masks. And I'm going to give those to everyone. We are staying in a big fancy hotel room in Las Vegas with my sister. Speaking of that, did you know 1 year ago we were in Vegas together? Today,
I know, because it
doing
was
the emerging esthetician, getting it ready to launch.
I know, our very first training.
Yeah,
That's crazy. That does not feel like a year ago to me.
time flies when you're having fun teaching estheticians all the good stuff.
I know. I know.
Back to travel, I was in Arizona recently. I did a sales call for, this is scoop. I did a sales call for a hotel.
Mm.
And in the morning, I like to go for a walk. And there was this girl like your age outside walking her dog down the street outside of the hotel property in a neighborhood. And she had on eye masks. Your dog, and I go, somehow I love this kid.
Oh yeah. There's
I've
somebody
never done that, but I want to.
there's somebody in my in one of my workout classes that shows up and does the whole Pilates class in her eye masks. Keeps
Oh
them
my
on.
goodness.
Yeah.
I love it. There's somebody at my gym that the whole time she's on the treadmill for an hour balances a Stanley Cup on the top of her head. I'm fascinated. I'm like, keeping your water bottle close to stay hydrated. But we should also talk about skincare things people do at the gym. That would be fun in an upcoming episode.
That would be so fun. Gosh, I love girls. I love women and all the fun things we get to do.
I know. I just had one of my guy clients come in. Something I will say, if you have male clients, they will do anything you tell them to do. They're a little less all over the place with skincare because they're not getting hit with all of the online
Yeah.
skincare stuff. So he's 74 years old and he will take home anything I tell him that he needs because I've repaired his barrier. He was a retired fisherman, ESPN fisherman for a long time. When he first came in, I would wash his face, it would bleed. And now he's like, I don't know how you fixed me. No doctors could. So I think with a man or a male client, they will buy just as much skincare. Sometimes we don't realize that.
Yeah, I haven't had much experience with male clients, but
You're missing out on a very rule following clientele. But you probably have a place to go look for, right? Like a treatment room. You probably have to get going today. I'm sure you have a lot to do. You're gone all weekend and you're in search of a place. You're getting a phone call at 2:00 today. I want full deets after.
okay, I'll let you know.
Potential space.
Potential space in a special space.
Oh my God. Let's keep that a secret because I think
Okay.
it's going to happen and it'll be really fun to share.
Yeah.
Anything
Okay.
else we have to talk about before we go?
I don't think so. We've got between April 6th, April 16th, and then May. The live. And yeah, we've got some serious fun stuff happening in the Beauty Biz Club. So I'm excited.
All right. Well, have a good day. Go find the perfect spot. We'll talk soon.
Okay. Bye, everyone.
Bye, everybody. Thanks for tuning in to the Beauty Biz Show. I hope the episode has left you feeling inspired to build the beauty biz of your dreams. As always, we appreciate your kind reviews as it helps us attract amazing guests to be interviewed. Also, be sure to give me a follow on Instagram at Lori_BeautyBiz and SpaStar_Lux. If you'd like to know more about how we can work together, visit beautybizclub.com where we are busy helping estheticians create outrageously abundant careers.